It's hard to pinpoint the exact moment things stopped feeling right. Maybe it was when the dust settled after the 2021 draft, and there was this vague, uncomfortable silence instead of the thunderous confidence we all expected. Or maybe it came later, like a slow leak in a dream you didn't realize was deflating. But here's the truth. The Miami Dolphins had everything lined up to become something terrifying. And yet here we are. Back in 2020. You could feel it. This wasn't just another rebuild. This wasn't a shrug and hope kind of offseason. It was calculated chaos. A roster stripped down to the studs. Names shipped off like they were weight dragging the ship underwater. And from the ashes, a shiny pile of draft picks emerged. 3 firsts in one draft. 2 seconds. And then again next year, another duo of firsts and seconds. 9 premium shots to get it right. 9. Some teams dream about that kind of capital and end up picking once in a round with their hands tied. Miami had a war chest, and they went to battle. Tua Tagovailoa, Austin Jackson, Noah Igbinoghene, Robert Hunt, Raekwon Davis. Then came Jalen Waddle, Jaelan Phillips, Javon Holland, Liam Eichenberg. It sounds like a foundation, doesn't it? Names we could have built around. But somehow, when the structure went up, it leaned. It creaked. And when the pressure came, it cracked. It's not that these players are busts. That's the thing, they're not. It's worse. They're good. Just not great. They're solid. Just not scary. And when you stack good against great, the way you have to in January, good loses. You watch Baltimore or Buffalo or Kansas City walk into a stadium and own it. Then you look at Miami. 11 wins, yes. But when it counted, folding like paper in a storm. Tua, the heart says yes. The brain hesitates. Because it's all there, the accuracy, the leadership, the spark. But the injuries keep pulling him out of rhythm, like a song that skips every time it starts to get good. And when it's crunch time, that killer instinct, that leap, that takeover mode, it hasn't shown up. Austin Jackson finally turned a corner, only to get clipped again by injuries. Robert Hunt fought like a dog and made himself a name, then priced himself out. That's what happens when you draft well and still lose the long-term game. And Igbinoghene. Let's not even pretend that one didn't sting. He was never close. Then there's the trade chapter. Oh, the fireworks. Tyreek Hill flies into town with a grin and a storm behind him. Bradley Chubb gets pulled in like the final piece. And Jalen Ramsey? That felt like a power move. Like Miami was done waiting. F them picks, they said. It sounded defiant. It sounded bold. It sounded right. Until the playoffs came and it felt like screaming into the void. Ramsey was electric, no doubt. Hill, for all the noise, brought the noise on the field too. But Chubb? Injuries again. It's always the same chorus. Talented player, promising upside. But yeah. But. Always a but. What about Waddle? He's been money. But he's not Chase. And he could have been, if they just stayed at pick 3. Penei Sewell? Also still on the board. Miami got cute. Thought they could play chess while others were still warming up. Turns out, sometimes it's just better to take the sure thing staring you in the face. And that trade? Dropping from 3 to 12, then jumping to 6. It's one of those moments you look back on and wince. The ripple effects. Still hurting. Offensive line still isn't fixed. Still patching holes with duct tape and prayers. Let's talk about Holland. Solid. Smart. Versatile. But gone. Let walk. Why? Because when you miss on some picks, you overpay others. The balance shifts, and you can't hold on to the ones who might have been part of something bigger. And Dickerson. He went right after. 3 straight Pro Bowls. Miami blinked. Even the smaller missteps feel heavier now. Trading up for Eichenberg, giving up a 3rd-rounder to do it, and what did it bring? Uncertainty. You could have sat tight. Could have had Trayvon Moehrig. Or Nick Bolton. That 3rd-rounder could have mattered. Should have mattered. And look, no one's pretending draft picks are guarantees. But when you have 9 premium chances, you can't walk away with a handful of maybes. This isn't about blaming one person. It's not just the front office. Not just the coaches. It's the whole mechanism. The process looked airtight. The theory was solid. Stack picks, spend smart, hit on trades when you're close. It just didn't click. And here's the worst part. You can feel how close it was. That's what burns. This wasn't a team that fell apart. It's a team that got to the edge and froze. They were right there, but never over the hump. Never that final step. Never the win that means something. A single playoff win. That's all fans wanted. One weekend where it felt like the rebuild paid off. One night where the pain and patience turned into celebration. And still nothing.